What's up, everybody? What's up? I hope everyone is well, making their dreams come true, doing your thing, doing your thing, doing your thing. I was, or am on my way to get a workout in, to go for a walk, clear my head, etc., etc. And it's raining, so I'm gonna sit here and when I get to the spot anyway, and just see what's up. But because I don't want to be out in the middle of the woods, or on a trail, I should say. And it started opening up. The sky started opening up. So we'll see. Anyway, well, I'll make a video here. So I want to talk about something that I kind of addressed a little bit already, and that is advocating for yourself, particularly for the men. But this is really for anyone. Anyone really could and should advocate for themselves. So I was watching Instagram, and I'm telling myself I'm going to get away from watching so much of this, but this one, some of it, you get your algorithms going, and it starts taking you down this negative road and this negative stuff that you're like, I need to chill out from watching all this craziness, right? So, but I did see a video, and the algorithm obviously had pointed me to this place where it's just this continued gender war against men, against women, particularly with the modern era and how things are going. And it's one young lady. I didn't like the video or save it, or maybe I did. I don't know. Or screen. If I did, I'll screen record it and put it in here. But this young lady was talking about, for the first time in history, women get to be more selective, and she didn't care about the if her philosophy was, if the ladies now are selecting the top 10% of men, she might have said 10 or 20% of men. She didn't care about the other 80% or 90% of men. She was like, hey, it is what it is. We finally get to be our own autonomous human beings. We get to make our own decisions, and nobody's going to take this away from us. Now, let me just pause here for a moment and say, as a father, I don't have a problem with what she said. I mean, I have a daughter, and I want her to be as selective as possible and get the best match and mate as possible. But as a man, I want you to hear what she's saying and move accordingly. Now, she did give a caveat. She said, here are your two options, right? It's really only one option. Become that top 20 or 10% man, or up. You gotta work on your finances, work on your game, work on your intellect, emotional intellect, and all this other. You got to work on that. Go to the gym, etc., etc. You got to work on all that. Can't deny that. So that's the message to the men out there: is nobody's coming to save you. No one's going to care. Nobody's going to care about you, or at least you have to move that way. I mean, your mother will care about you. You might have some sisters, or maybe your boys will care about you, but nobody's going to care about you. And I was watching a video, probably which related to the algorithm. I was watching a video, which was a good conversation, but it comes from the higher intellects. The lady on the panel, gone to Harvard. The other guy, Scott Galloway, I've talked about him a number of times. I don't think he goes far enough in his analysis. So it certainly doesn't have any prescriptions to help this situation in dealing with men. And the other one was the host, but the lady and Scott Galloway were going back and forth about just asking questions and giving each other research and what this says and what they're saying. But what was interesting about this whole thing, people are getting out their cars. Maybe I'll go for a walk. What was interesting about this thing, about the conversation, wasn't so much the conversations that these people were having, because they're having this higher level. Even the lady who was giving her talk was saying, well, she's expensive to work with. These are the exact words she said. I'm expensive to work with. She was a behavioral scientist. She's a behavioral scientist, and now she is a dating coach, and she uses her behavioral science education from Harvard to work with high-end clients who are seeking men. In particular, women who are seeking men, because these women who are high-powered ladies themselves can't find men to be on their level, and they're having a hard time. because women generally date on their level, or they want someone better than them. So my only contention about this whole thing is, if that's the way that they date, then you have to make men better. So this celebratory type of language, the first video I mentioned about the young lady, this celebratory language is, get over it, and we don't care, and this, that, and the other. They don't care. They're not concerned about it. They're not concerned about you, your happiness, your sexuality, your mating prospect. They're not concerned about that. So I'm telling you, you have to be concerned about that. You have to be one who wants to get out of the basement, go to school, get a trade, drive trucks, open a business, get in the gym. You have to become that person, because no one's coming to save you. No one's coming to save you. These videos are constantly giving us these messages. Now I started to talk about when I wanted to talk about the second video that I was watching, is the comment section. The comment section was by the time I watched this, it was something like 20,000 people had watched, 23,000, something like that, and 12,000 comments. 12,000 comments. I'm obviously not going to read 12,000 comments, but I would say the majority of them, 70% that I had read, were overwhelmingly negative. These people don't know what they're talking about. They're not talking to real people. They are, maybe I'll put some screenshots up, just really crazy, because there's just a piece of hair in my mouth here. There's just overwhelming disconnection that is going on between men and women in this modern era. And one of the comments, I can't find it again. I'm pretty sure it was this video. I watched a couple of different videos. Pretty sure it was this video that I'm gonna mention. Said that this is a problem. This dating problem of women who are high powered and can't find mates on their own is a making of their own, because they demanded to be equal. They demanded to be in the workforce. They demanded all this type of stuff, and now they want a man who's better than them. You can't have both. you can't have both. You can't be in a workplace wanting to rub elbows with CEO suites and all this kind of stuff, and then want those type of men to do that. And then also what they also talked about is they want men to be in the video they were talking about. I'm actually thinking about doing a reaction to this, because I'm not going to be able to do it justice unless I slow it down and talk about it. Is that emotional intelligence is the new currency. So what they're really talking about is role reversal. The ladies are the breadwinners. They are the breadwinners. They're working the 9 to 5s, right? They're dropping the kids off at daycare or whatever. The guy, if you can't bring the breadwinning aspect, this is all what they're all saying in the video. If you can't bring the breadwinning aspect to it, then can you at least bring the emotional aspect to it? Because I'm out working, I need somebody to relieve my emotions. I need someone to do this, that, and the other. That's role reversal. Do you really want that type of man who is financially compromised, not doing anything else, but yet his contribution is emotional support? This is exactly why men are not signing up to a bunch of people running, so I guess I will go for a walk. A bunch of people who it's role reversal, and you don't understand, can't figure out why men are refusing to sign up for that, wanting to go out on the dates. And listen, a lot more ladies are doing that too. I mean, some research, and there is some research saying that a lot of something like 35% of ladies who are single are actually looking. That means 65% are not looking, who are successful and this, that, and the other. So, the ladies aren't finding what they're looking for, so they're kind of bowing out. The guys aren't finding what they're looking for, so they're bowing out. But they're not only bowing out of the dating market, they're bowing out of society. That can't be good for society, given the way that our society runs, right? We need the plumbers, we need the oil rig workers, we need the construction workers, we need the men who do the traditional jobs that they've been doing. So, on the panel that they gave, that I just talked about, they were talking about how the ladies, who are young ladies, the 30 and under maybe, are making more than their counterparts. Now, guys, I think that flips and switches around 40, 45, particularly because ladies drop out the market and start having babies. Listen, this is all stuff. This guy looks like an umpire. This is all stuff that we're contending with, that we're dealing with, that we're dealing with, contending with, and all that. So I'm saying all that to say, not to belittle ladies or tell them to slow down or anything like that. I'm talking to the men right now, in that nobody's coming to save you. Nobody cares about your emotional health. You know, the high deletion rates, self-deletion rates. There's an animus, there's a negativity, there's apathy. They don't care. So you have to care about you. Why you should care about you, for your own mental health, for your own stability, for your own legacy, and all these other things that we can throw in there. You have to care about you for you, right? And so you have to make your own way. You have to find your own way, make your own way, be your own boss, be your own person, be your own final boss, be the person who you want to be, and ask yourself, and Scott Galloway did ask a good question. He said, well, you know, I'm not going to say it the way he said it, but, you know, would you want to have sex with you? You know, you got to ask yourself that. If you're a guy, and are you cleaned up? Are you well shaved? Are you well groomed? Do you smell good? How's your teeth, your hygiene? How's your intellect? How's your ability to make a woman laugh? Who are you? How are you moving about in the world? How is your intelligence? Are you an angry, bitter guy? Are you constantly downing yourself? Or are you on your game, on your grind, and making moves? You know, what they did say in this panel is that a lot of ladies are looking for is simply a man who's making moves. You may not be rich yet, but are you planning to be rich? Or do you have a game plan? Are you in school? Are you opening up a business? Are you thinking about a business? What are you doing? Right? So that is the, you know, a big key takeaway is you have to care about you and what you're doing first. And before you can take on any other responsibilities, before you start entering into relationships, before you start trying to be something different, or trying to attract someone into your sphere, into your circle, particularly someone who's moving in corporate America and becoming more high-powered every day, you know, you are not, you're not a viable option. So you have to become that viable option. So the first video that I mentioned, I don't remember if I don't think I saved it, but if I did, I played it. And she didn't care. She didn't care. She didn't care. She don't care about that. She don't care. You know, this is a selfish, cold world, and you got to get used to it. Everybody's they're not concerned about your mental health, your well-being, your money, your prospects, your ability to sleep with women. They don't care. They don't care. So you have to care. And so I'm relating that to the second video about, and I may do a reaction to this maybe later on in the coming week or so, just to go through what they were saying, as well as analyze the comment section, because the comment section is really where I wanted to highlight a lot of different stuff. So that is what I got for you today. I wanted to encourage you guys to become the best version of yourself. You know, it may seem like a lot of pressure, but that's what the world is. It's pressure. It's making moves. It's doing things. It's caring about yourself and getting up, getting out there, getting out of your mama's basement, getting off the couch, getting off the screens, getting into real life, going outside, touching grass, going outside there and just doing what you have to do. What you have to do. And the problem, I think, a lot of times is that we don't have to do it. This is the problem, that we don't have to do it. You don't have to get a girlfriend. So because you don't have to get a girlfriend, because you can sedate yourself with corn and adult movies, because you don't have to do it, you'd rather do that. You don't have to really advance on your job. To be considered living in poverty for one person, I think is like something like $15,000. And it's like 28, or if your family of four, it's like 28 or 29 or $30,000, between 28 and $30,000 a year. So if you're a guy and you got some you driving Ubers or whatever, you can make it $30,000, and you don't really have to motivate yourself to buy a house. You can just live in your mama's basement, or get yourself a 1-bedroom, get your video games and your excessive bottles of lotion. You don't have to do it. Whereas before, America was hungry. America was hungry, and we had to do these things. And so now people you don't have to do it. You don't have to. I don't have to have a girlfriend. I can live a good life. There's nobody pestering me. I don't have to buy Valentine's gifts or remember people's birthdays or any. I don't have to get in arguments. I can just, and who knows what's going to be with AI robots and all this kind of stuff in the future. So I don't have to do it. So there's no pressure on me to wash myself, and no pressure on, not me, but no pressure on you as a man, or these kids, or, your nephew, cousin, whoever, to do these things and motivate himself. You don't have to go to college, right? You can drive Ubers and DoorDash, get a little side gig, whatever, maybe a little factory stocking job or whatever, make his money and do whatever. Now, is he going to suffer from some type of male loneliness? Well, I think that there's some evidence that's saying that may come about, but a lot of guys are saying, okay, I got online friends, or they're developing communities. One thing that they did mention in the video, I really should do a reaction to this. One thing that they did mention in the video, again, is that, they were advocating for getting out of the house and getting into actual physical communities. Physical communities where you can sit side by side, sit face to face, have conversations with people, and share your experiences about how you grew up, what's going on in your job. This is for men, male only communities. And this is what I've been saying for a long time. You freaking broke them up years ago and want to start all this stuff, right? And women want to invade men's spaces and all this type of stuff. And now I was listening to a professor talked about when they tried to do some things for black men on their campus, help them succeed in college and all this kind of stuff. Next thing you know, the women demanded to be a part of it. And of course, then once they demand it, right, then the structure gets changed and the focus gets changed. And next thing you know, the men left. This is a college professor talking about this, right? You need men-only spaces. Why this is an anathema is difficult. It's difficult to understand. But this is something that is there. So listen, let me just end this off with, you got to focus on yourself. You got to work on yourself, and what you have to care about you. If nobody else cares, no, your parents don't care, your brothers don't care, your friends don't care, your boss don't care, your co-workers don't care, your church don't care. Nobody cares. It seems as if nobody cares about men, their issues, and their ability to be resilient, to bounce back, to have mental health, mental stability. It seems like the attitude is, you got to do what you got to do for you. And, you got to figure this out. You got to figure it out. I want you guys to embrace yourself, to love yourself, and to go forward, move forward. And if you don't do it for anyone else, and this is hard for men because we operate on a reward system. If you don't do it for yourself, and if you don't do it for yourself, nobody else is going to care whether you do it for them. They're going to want to meet you at the finish line, but you got to do it for yourself first. You got to do it for yourself first. You got to love yourself first. You got to embrace yourself first. You got to go for self first. You got all that you got to do for yourself first. So, hope I said something that was encouraging and really kind of eye-opening. You got to do it for you, because nobody's coming to save you. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. They don't care. So, much love and peace, everyone.